Alright, so by now you should have a very solid tool that you can share with your team. But we can also make it even better by supercharging it with AI. And there's actually quite a lot that we could do, but I will focus specifically on a modern UI form so I can provide a better user experience for selecting views, setting renaming rules, and most importantly, having a live preview of all the renaming kind of rules. This way we can decide if it's good or not before we commit. And now, quick note, I normally prefer using Cloud Code for all my agentic workflows, but to kind of make it simpler and faster, we will use Cursor native agent in vanilla form without any setup. This way, we can all kind of do it together right away. So let's dive in. Now I'm just gonna go a little bit crazy. Can you duplicate a name swapper button and create kind of enhanced version where we can add a custom VPF UI form with view selections, live previews, and naming rules. Call it Swapper Plus. Right now, again, I'm going to use Opus 4.8. That's a really good one, or maybe GPT-5.5. Whatever you prefer. I'm going to send that one in. Let's just see what we get. That one is a little bit like crazy one because it's going to write a lot of code. There are like hundreds of lines just to create the UI form. Also, without any kind of reference files, it might mess up UI. It will probably show up, but the code is going to be messy because I saw some VPF code it does like with vanilla settings, and I mean, it works, but maintaining it wouldn't be like nice, let's say. Let's see what we get. Why did I do it so long? All right, I came back and I see it's still thinking. As you can see, these agents can sometimes take quite some time, but now it's kind of verifying in a loop, like creates codes, verifies it, and so on. I can already see a new folder right here. So I think meanwhile, while it still thinks, we can go and reload pyRevit. Because even if it changes the code, that's totally fine. We just need to show the button, and then the button updates automatically when you add the code. There's no need to kind of reload every time you update the code, unless you work with libraries, but this one is questionable. You can see Swapper Plus. Now we just go and wait, and I think it finished, so I just click and see what we get. And that's what we get. Well, ignore those, the symbols we actually said, but now that's our rename it. You can see Swapper Plus, and you'll notice that what it did, it went through our existing kind of extension, found working example, and kind of used it as a base. Because now it looks similar like button generator, and I think most of your tools will if you're going to use agentic now. But let's say that, well, first of all, select none. Search views. Let's find this L floor plans. Okay, it's not perfect. Let's say L1. Here, floor plan. L2. Well, L2 doesn't exist. L3. Floor plan. Now, it's not ideal. Yeah, so I don't like it. So I'm going to go back and just going to ramble what I don't like about it. Okay, so I'm looking at your form that you made, and there are a few issues. Well, first of all, the selection. I want to be able to filter by floor plans, area, and stuff like that. And second of all, well, the selection and preview should be a little bit different, maybe different kind of columns or something. Because first of all, I want to select my views, and then I want to see the current and new name only for the selected views. This is going to help me navigate and see the right answers better. And yeah, just add also a filter to select between these kind of floor plans and stuff like that, like areas, ceiling plans, drawing sheets, and so on. And yeah, I think that's good. So I'm going to send it. And often just ramble to these agents. They are pretty good. This is actually, I would say, much better than typing. First of all, you're going to do it much quicker. And oftentimes it's going to provide more context because while you think you're just going to throw in a lot of extra details, sometimes you can clean it up if it kind of went sideways, it's dirty. But overall, I think it's quite okay to do that. But yeah, also let's rename. And well, no views were named. Maybe I deselected or something, but let's see. So you can push it quite far. Now it's about the time. And the thing is that you can spin up multiple agents, work on multiple tools. But when you do it this way, kind of code with AI, it's really good if you can judge the code, the output, and kind of make changes that you personally want. Because, well, even though AI is good, it's great, it's either takes long with agents or it's faster models, which might be dumber and miss some context and do something not the right way, maybe does it in a kind of right way, but not the best. So yeah, it's always best if you have the understanding to modify what AI is doing. All right, now it made some changes. Let's just open and see what we get now. So click. Oh, now it's talking. First of all, select none, preview is empty, all views. Now it's already something usable. So let's get maybe floor plan. Let's get this L views, L1, L2, whatever they are. L1, that one, L2, then maybe L3, L4, L5. Now here on the top, I can say the prefix is going to be EF. The fine is going to be, let's see, nothing happens. But if I'm going to find L, I can say level, maybe like 01, suffix. You can put some date. I don't know, draft. Here we can write floor plan. You know what? We're not gonna write anything. And I think that's good. Let's rename it. Perfect, perfect. We could also turn that output into another menu, so it also kind of displays differently, more functionality. You can see that now Revit API is so much fun because we have this agents AI, we have always somewhere to get answers. As long as you can judge your output and kind of direction of the code, because there were actually a few suggestions by AI that I didn't like. I mean, probably I would just get an error and eventually fix it with AI as well. But it's very, very good when you kind of judge the output of AI. Because sometimes you just blindly can follow and it can sometimes go astray, and then getting from there back on track might be really hard. But that's why you would normally set up the proper kind of backup system so you can always go back and so on, but some other time maybe. All right, guys, now we finished with your very first pyRevit tool. And I know it took quite a lot of time and it's quite advanced, but I showed you all the stages of real development. We started with a plan, we thought about it, we kind of gathered research, which we kind of took the shortcut, but still. Then we kind of went through, we started with proof of concept. Proof of concept took us like maybe 5 minutes, 15 lines of code. We already had a working tool. Then we started working slowly, feature one, feature two, feature three, four, five. Then I'm like, okay, fine. Then in the end, we throw in AI and told it like, hey, do that and that and that. And now, look at that. We have this amazing tool right here that pretty much all of you can start using right away. You can even add a few more rules and that would be great. And honestly, I absolutely like how it works. Well, it's similar to what I expected, but yeah, it did a good job. I did not expect that it would grab my form, to be honest. I thought that it's just gonna kind of, as usually, kind of come up with some random stuff. But hey, it did a good job. I really like the end tool. Even though we could improve it even more, I think we need to know as developers when to stop. Because with AI, it gives you so much kind of code power that you need to sometimes tell yourself, Eric, don't do it, enough. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, guys. Yeah, I just have one more lesson where I'm going to talk about what are your next steps, what you should focus on, how to get better with pyRevit and Revit API. But for now, congratulations, you did a great job. You have an amazing tool. And I hope that you're going to use the same kind of process for creating more tools and also kind of experimenting with AI, see how far you can get it. So I'm going to see you in the next one. See ya.